Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way, if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.
Yo, what's good, y'all? What's the word? What's going on? How everybody doing out there? Y'all already know what it is, man. We are back again, and it's time for the Thursday banger. That's a lot, y'all. It's time for the Thursday banger. It's time for the Thursday banger, and I got one. I keep a banger at all times. But like I always say before I start these videos off, I have no problem delivering this content to everybody that's out there working hard, working a 9 to 5. Everybody that's out there with their own business, getting to that bag the legit way. I make sure y'all got something to watch in the mornings, man. I promise y'all there's no problem on my end. I also have no problem making sure I'm warning y'all and telling y'all about how dangerous prison is. I only ask for one thing in the process, though, and that's for y'all to just stay out the way, man. That's it, man. Let's do it, man. Let's just change our life right now. If you're watching this video or you running around in the streets, you being a psycho for no reason, man, let's do it right now, today, and just change your life around, man. Is it hard to do or is it impossible to do, man? Which one is it, man? Because y'all make it seem like it's impossible to do. It's not impossible to turn your life around if you really want to turn your life around, man. It's just a few things you got to do. It's going to take a lot of sacrificing. It's going to take a lot of changing your life. It's going to take a lot of things that you're probably not used to. But if you don't want to go to jail or end up worse in the ground, you have to change your life around, man. You have to, man. I'm going to start y'all off with this, man. Change your life around, man, by getting away from those friends that you know always get you into stuff. If you hanging around some dudes that's just always into a bunch of violence and that's all they care about is violence and there ain't no money involved, and like when they leave from the violence, they got to go live back at their mama house, get away from those people, man, right now. I'm letting you know now, get away from those people, man. Just because a person that you hanging with is violent doesn't make him a cool person, man. It just make him a violent person, man. His time gonna come sooner or later. So get away from them, man. And the last thing, man, get away from them areas, man, that you already know is going to just cause you to crash out, or you're going to get into some drama or whatever the case. Get away from them areas, man. If you can get away from them areas, man, and change the people that you hanging with, man, that's the start of staying out the way, man. That's all I want y'all to do, man. Just stay out the way, y'all. Period. But y'all already know what it is, man. This is the Thursday banger, so I need y'all to do this one. Like, shit, so y'all. Let's get this. Skip. Let's go. But it's time for business. It's time for business, y'all. And the story I got for y'all today is called He Wanted Out. Part 1. Crazy story, crazy situation. But we are aware, people. We in penitentiary, man, where crazy things happen all the time. I'm telling y'all, man, like when it comes to the red and the blue team culture, man, when it was in Virginia, man, like, you know, with it being fairly new, it was a lot of things that wasn't like, you know, probably like how the other states run their stuff, man. They've been doing it for years. Y'all got to understand, Virginia was new to the party. And I tell y'all that a lot when it comes to the red and the blue team. Like, and, you know, they had leaders from other cities and other states and all of that. And they tried to keep things running smooth and all of that, man. But still, though, man, like it was still unorthodox slightly in the beginning because a lot of people just wasn't used to that type of culture, man. So when it's a situation like that going on, when I was locked up, it always like resorts to violence. When people don't like agree, well, this is how this is running and I don't like how he's doing this, it always turned out to be violence, man. So with that being said, though, we on Sussex 2 for this, y'all. We on Sussex 2. Man, I can remember being in 4C for this one, man. And I was in 4C, man. And it was a great place to be. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, you know, coming from 4D, went to the hole, now I'm in 4C. I was just thankful that I was still in the building that I just left when I got out the hole. So now I'm in 4C. I'm trying to adapt. I'm trying to, you know, see what's going on in this part. It's kind of the same people that I know that was in 4D. There's some dudes over here in 4C that I know that I rock with. And there was a lot of different things going on. Now, before I left, it was a big thing going on with the red team and they getting into it with a lot of people and they was clashing. Now, I know I said the red and the blue team in the beginning when I was doing the intro, but like the blue team wasn't really like out, like they wasn't really around like this. You know what I mean? They wasn't. I was just giving y'all the politics of how it just was ran when it first got to Virginia. But this is all red team right here, man. Like before I left 4D, they had just got into a big brawl with the Richmond mob. So it was like all of that was going on. So I went to the hole, everybody, I was back in the hole for a while. I get out, they put me back in the same building. I'm back in 4 building. I'm back in 4 building, but this time I'm in 4C. So when I got to 4C, I saw for what it was. Like I saw what it was. Like it was a bunch of dudes in there that was definitely like just trying to be down with the red team. Now, the only reason they was trying to be down with the red team is because of the numbers. I used to look at that, and that's another thing that I didn't really respect from a lot of guys that joined. Like, I'm not disrespecting the red team or nothing like that. I'm just saying, like, from a lot of the guys that I witnessed that joined the red team, like, I felt like they was just joining it because of the numbers of it, man. Like, I felt like a lot of dudes that were cowards on the low, a lot of dudes that didn't really have a good fight game. Like, I just think they enjoyed when it was drama. It was 20 of them. Like, it was just like, you go in the yard, it's 40 of them. Like, it was just a lot of them, man. So a lot of those dudes that was in there rocking with that stuff, a lot of them I didn't really respect. I ain't even gonna lie, man. But when I got to 4C, it was a dude in there from the town, man. We're gonna call him James, man. Now, James was one of those dudes that came in substitute a little bit after that. We was already in there. Now, James got locked up after we got locked up. So he was out for when he was out for when the red culture had finally hit Virginia, especially hit down our way, Tidewater. Like, so, he was one of those dudes that came in with that, that's what he already banging. Like, that's already what he repping and all of that. So when we met, bro, I was in 4D when I met him. He was in 4C. Now, he was one of those dudes that, like, he was more like a thinker. He was a thinker of the crew. He was more like, yeah, if we go down, he gonna be right there with the crew. He gonna handle business with the crew. He wasn't the biggest one out the crew, but he had a big heart. So it was like every time something was going down, he was definitely on deck. Now, the red team really didn't have a whole lot of problems of dudes getting at them because I told y'all it was a lot of them. So it wasn't like dudes were just getting at them randomly. Like, it used to be a lot of things that happened, and then because of the politics of where somebody is from or whatever the case, sometimes they can resort to a fair one. Now, it depends because it can be a dude from Richmond that's the leader, and he with the red team, and the red team get into it with the Richmond mob. The dude from Richmond gonna try to, like, just on the strength that he know dudes from his city, he gonna try to get that alleviated. He gonna try to get that squash. So it used to be stuff like that going on when it comes to politics from Norfolk side and the Richmond side, or from whatever side. Everybody that was in the red team that had a little rank that was from a city specifically, they would try to get beefs kind of ironed out. So, like, it used to be stuff happening, and the dude James, like, he was one of those dudes that kind of had the brains, and he would try to keep dudes moving right. James used to try to get the pack from here to there. He really didn't have nobody to bring him the pack, but still, though, he used to have dudes that he knew that he was trying to get in the car with. Kind of just same things I used to be doing. I be telling y'all about the stories that I be doing. So, like, James was all right with me. Me and him was cool. I met him buying feezies. After that, we introduced ourselves, both of us being from Norfolk. I didn't really know him like that. He didn't know me. We was from different sides of town. But after we introduced each other, we was all right. Now, I wasn't like it wasn't unfamiliar of you getting cool with somebody that's on the red team, because at one period of time on substitute, that's all that was coming in there from Norfolk. And I don't care if you knew these dudes from back in the day. Like, anybody that was coming up there from Norfolk or Tidewater or Virginia Beach or anywhere like that, majority of them was repping that red team, man. That's just how it was. Like, when they hit down our way, it hit crazy. So, like, it's spreading like wildfire. So, like, bro, when he used to talk to me about it, like, when me and him, I got cool, kind of like when I used to holler at him, I really didn't have to, like, be like, yo, are you all right over there? No, I ain't have to do that, because bro was one of the thinkers. He wasn't a leader. He was just one of the thinkers. Now, the leader that was over there the whole time when I was in 4D was this dude named Fruit. We gonna call him Fruit. Now, I ain't even gonna say where Fruit from, but Fruit was one of the dudes that kind of was like, he was older. He was older, and he was in charge of the people that was in his crew. Now, his crew was the most deepest out the red team that was in my block. So he was in charge of them. So it made it look like he was in charge of all the red team over there. But Fruit was one of them dudes that I felt like he was using a lot of young boys. You know what I mean? Like, he was smart, like how he knew how to move with the administration. Like, he had a job, you know what I mean? He used to work. He used to do a lot of stuff like that. But the whole time he was a freaking leader on the low. But he just was working the administration. But I used to think that he was just using people. Now, by the time I done moved over to 4C, now I'm getting a full view of how Fruit moving. You know what I mean? The way Fruit moving, man, Fruit move like he don't really care about them dudes, man. He move like he just got like the pieces to move, like, and he just gonna keep like just playing like a freaking goddamn, and he just gonna keep being somebody that's just gonna be moving the pieces around. That's all that's what I got from it, man. I say that because anytime somebody on the red team used to get something, man, like regardless if it was some la or some D block or whatever the case, they will always go break bread with him. Like, I done met dudes that was in the block, And they'll be like, yeah, man, I gotta go look out for fruit real quick. Da, 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 da. And I didn't understand it, but maybe it was just a red team thing. And he was in charge, so they was just kind of like just looking out for whoever the leader was, man. But after I viewed all of that and saw how it was being ran, like it put a bad taste in my mouth, man. I just felt good about. That's why I never really joined the red team, y'all. So boom. So now I'm in the block now. So now I'm over here with Lil James. And I'm kicking it with bro sometimes, but like I didn't kick it with him all the time. And a lot of dudes from the town didn't kick it with him all the time because he was in the red team. Like you would see him come holler at us from here to there. But the whole time, he's relating to his homies. He's around the guys that that's in his set. So he's definitely rocking with them. So like I'll say the first incident which was stupid. This was like a stupid incident, man. And like, I really don't like nobody praying on the weak, but this is penitentiary, y'all. Like, you're going to see stuff that you're not going to agree with. You're going to see people doing stuff that you'll be like, yo, that is the lamest stuff I've ever seen in my life. But you're going to see it in there because this is what goes on in penitentiary, man. People pray on the weak, and that's just how it goes. People praying on the weak, that's never going to end. You know what I mean? That's never, especially in there. Like out here, it's a little bit harder to prey on the weak because the weak can have a firearm or the weak can protect itself. Really out here, the weak can protect itself in there. But when you're outnumbered in there, it makes it a little bit more intimidating because it's all or nothing when they come at you. And it's like, what you gonna do when it's that situation? So like in there, man, those dudes, man, like I'm seeing them like this is around the time I told y'all about this. Like, you know what I mean? Like they just started us going to commissary. We got to go walk to go get the commissary now. So it's like people was getting robbed. People was getting robbed a lot. So that's why I said they preying on the weak. They robbing the weak black dudes, the white dudes. Like they just doing stuff that I didn't agree with. But there's a lot of them. So nobody was doing nothing about it. So why I say they was preying on the weak was it was this one white dude that was in the block, man. And for real, the white dude was a cool white dude. He was a solid white dude. Like he ain't really like poke his chest out like he was better than anybody or he was like tougher than anybody. Like he wasn't on that. Like he just was a white dude that just was probably down for like over 8 to 9 years or something like that. He already knew how to bid. He already knew how to stay away from certain stuff. He already knew what to do and what not to do. So he didn't gamble. I didn't know about him messing with no La or messing with no D Block or messing with no Hottie's Chicken. So he didn't really have no vices. But the only vice that he had was running the parlay vice. And that can get addictive too, man. So he had a little decent amount of money if you're somebody that can run the store box, man. So we're going to call this dude Mike. Now, white boy Mike, he had the whole joint lit on the outside. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what he was doing as far as do the compound. But I know when it came to 4 building, around the NFL time, man, he had the tickets jumping. His tickets was jumping. Everybody was playing his parlay. People was hitting it. People was losing. He was running the parlay. So, like, he's in 4C. Now, when I was in 4D, he'd been over in 4C, so I never really been around him. But when I got over there, you know what I mean, I saw that, the white dude, Mike, a cool dude. I used to go trade him Newports for Black and Mild. So when I would go to his cell, he slept in cell 34, the same cell I told you I slept in the 2C that went all the way in the cut. He slept in cell 34, so I would pull up and I would trade him probably like 2 packs of cigarettes for 4 blacks because he's a store box, because he's the parlay man. He got a bunch of tobacco. That's all people putting on the tickets. So he had a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? So I don't know what had happened, but I had seen Lil James one day, and when I was kicking it with him, me and him was jive, like just talking a little bit, but as we talking, I could kind of tell something is on his mind. You know how you can tell if like, somebody's there in the conversation, but they drifting a little bit, you know what I mean? So like I didn't pay it no mind until I seen him kind of like put his head down and start thinking. So when I was like, what's up, bro, you all right? He was like, yeah, man. I was like, nah, you ain't all right. What's going on? He was like, man, these dudes, man. He was like, man, these dudes, man, do fruit and them, man. They talking about robbing the white boy Mike. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, they about to go in there, bro, after lunch. I'm like, for what though? Like, what white boy Mike do to them? We're like, man, he ain't do nothing. He ain't do nothing, man. Fruit just saying that, that it's time for him to pay. Like, he gotta pay. So I'm like, man, white boy Mike ain't going for that jump, man. He ain't going for that jump because I already knew he wasn't. Like, you know what I mean? There ain't no need for to go through that jump. So I'm like, damn. So I'm like, bro, you the one. So I'm like, man, bro, you the one that always, trying to steer them the right way. What's going on? He was like, that's what I'm saying. Like, man, like, that jump there, like, I don't really care about a box of cigarettes and all. I don't care about that. But Fruit said we got to start us a store box. The red team need to start us a store box. And we got to start off by getting Mike. So I'm like, man, that's crazy. So white boy Mike was in the cell with another white dude. You know what I mean? I don't know if the white dude was like had his back or it was cool, but I guess it was whoever he wanted in the cell with him. So it was somebody he definitely deal with. So I'm sitting back hearing this information. I'm not feeling good about this information because I don't like when people pray on the weak, to be honest with y'all, man. But you know, things happening there all the time, man. There's nothing you really can do about it. So my question to bro was like, yo, just stop the jump, bro. This is like you kind of like right under fruit a little bit. Just stop the jump. He was like, man, I can't, man. You know, like, man, Fruit got the final word. You know, he big homie. So like, I said, so you got to go along with the robbery, bro. He was like, yeah, man. He was like, that's why I look stupid, man. He was like, because me and Mike done business. Mike done hooked me up with the white dude down on the other side and messed with the D block. I done made a couple of dollars off his homeboy, you know what I mean? He's like, me and Mike done doing business for like a year now. So I'm like, man, like, that's wild. Like, it wasn't funny, but I'm just like, hearing bro vent this to me, I'm just like, yo, bro, so what you gonna do? You know what I mean? That's the question. What you gonna do, man? Like, you know what I mean? He was like, man, I just gotta go along with it, Weezy. Man, I don't like it, man, but, man, like, man, I'm blood, Weezy, man. I gotta go along with it. I'm like, shh, man, you right, bro. You know what I mean? So I left it alone, man. We got other homeboys in there. And I guess bro know that I'm gonna talk to the town. Like I always, like, you know what I mean, put dudes on alert because we don't know if white boy Mike owes any of my guys or something like that. I gotta put my team on alert. So after I finished kicking it with Lil James, I pulled up with my homeboys from my town, you know what I mean? And I tell them like, yo, say word, Lil James told me they about to goddamn run a play and sting goddamn white boy Mike. I was like, yo, bro, say word, they about to run a play and sting white boy Mike. So my homeboy was like, for real, man? What they about to do that for, man? They about to make the bar hot with all that bullshit. I'm like, man, I know, bro. I was like, man, but you know, you can't tell him nothing, man. He's saying Fruit making the call. My man was like, man, I can't stand him, man. He just using them young boys, man. That's all he do. So like when he said that, I'm just looking at Fruit, man. Like, you know what I mean? Cause Fruit, I see Fruit standing like by the bulletin board. And he got a couple of his homies right there. And I see a couple of other ones standing in front of him. He got his back to the bulletin board. He talking. I'm just looking at him. Fruit was kind of like a taller dude, slim dude, had the fro. You know what I mean? Like not a big fro, but like he used to wear his junk like a fro. You know what I mean? So like he gave that intimidating factor of who he was, but the whole time I never heard about him in action. He just popped up on the compound out of nowhere, to be honest with y'all, man. So my man, like, bro, I can't stand him. I'm looking, I'm like, bro, you right. I was like, bro, but it is what it is, though. You know what I mean? So he was like, all right, that's what it is. So he like, when they supposed to be doing it? I'm like, bro, I don't know, bro. He said soon. I ain't want to tell him the exact time to let off everything, but I just like, bro, they're going to do it soon. So he didn't owe nobody. I was telling that information too. So that was that. So they finally call us the child. So we go to child. By the time we come back from child, I see white boy Mike standing in the front of the door. He's standing at the front of the door. He's standing at the front door. He like, and Mike was kind of like a tall, slim dude, bald head, white dude, you know what I mean? He was like, he just pacing, he like, so everybody coming back in the joint. This word, everybody come back in the joint. Man, I promise you, as soon as everybody came back in, Fruit walked to the TV, cut the TV off, jumped up, cut that joint off, the joint cut off. He was like, man, look, I don't disrespect nobody in here, man. I've been good to everybody. Everybody knows me, man. If I got it and you need it, I will freaking give it to you, man. I am not petty. I have looked out for a lot of people in here, man. With that being said, who the heck went in my cell? Somebody went in my cell and stole everything, man. My TV, my CD player, my cigarettes, my food, my hygiene. They took everything. They took everything, man. Now, who's gonna be a man? Who's gonna be a man? So he turned around, the red team standing over there like 6 deep. I look at my homeboy Lil James, they all standing over there by Fruit. As he talk, he like, who's gonna be a man? He turned around and them and say, who's gonna be a man? Now who's gonna be a man? Who's gonna be a man? Yeah, who's gonna be a man? So the red team ain't saying nothing. So he like, man, that's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. That's somebody stealing, man, got somebody stealing my stuff. So he's going ballistic. He's going ballistic in the pod to the point where the lady in the booth is kind of like, she's watching it. She hasn't called nobody. She's watching the whole situation. So she just, you know what I mean? She's watching the joke. So he's still blacking out. He's snapping out. He's snapping out. He's snapping out. So I guess somebody came and told him, was like, yo, man, look, chill out, man. You know what I mean? He was like, no, man, I want my stuff back, man. I want my stuff. We got a freaking thief in the pod. We need to find out who it is. He's blacking out. He's still blacking out. So he went upstairs to his cell. Boom, he finally go upstairs to his cell. When he went upstairs to his cell, I looked over at Fruit. Fruit was like this. Fruit was like, he whispered something to somebody else here. And he whispered something to dude there over here. Then he looked at my homeboy Lil James. Lil James was like, man, this is my word, man. One dude went up the steps this way. One dude went up the steps this way. Both of them went up the steps like bad dudes. I promise y'all, man. That jump was like, it was a slow motion jump. The other nigga, they got up the steps. I looked, Lil James was coming up behind him. Another dude came up the steps. So it was 4 people. It was 4 people, man, headed to white boy Mike's cell, man. So boom, What you gonna do about that? 4 people, man. So they go up the steps. Fruit still standing like this by the steps. Fruit standing by the steps like this. He just looking up there. Cell 34 is in the cut. Remember I told you I was all the way in the back by the showers, all the way at the end. So Fruit watching the jump. Man, they go up in that jump, man. It's my word, they get up there. So when they up there, I guess Mike know what time it is. Don't nobody be coming up there like that, man. After he done made that announcement. Man, he go up that jump, man. This is my word. When they all go up that jump, that's all you heard was them go in that cell. White Mike was like, yeah, I'll fight any one of y'all. I'll fight. He just started snapping out. That's all you heard was, like, just imagine being downstairs just hearing, I was like, everybody like, shh, Fruit like this. He ain't gonna put no work in. He like this. That's all you hear is the noise. They still fighting up that jump. So after like 2 minutes, man, like a loud drop. Then next thing you know, you see my homeboy come out first. Lil James come out. His shirt ripped up. He come out. Then you see the other 2 dudes come out. Everybody was in that jump, man. It was 4 people in that jump, man. They came out of that jump looking like a circus car, y'all. So boom. I promise you, man, they came down the steps. Fruit was like, man, come on. Fruit slept in cell 19. So they all went by Fruit cell. They all standing over there by Fruit cell. White boy Mike in there, man. You see the white dude go up there to check on him. I was like, man, all us looking at him. Everybody, the Richmond crew over there, the Norfolk crew right here, you know what I mean? The Norfolk crew, the Richmond crew over here, the Norfolk crew over here watching it, the other dudes over there, the white, everybody just like, I'm telling y'all, man, I know it was like that on the street for a while. Like, inside, the neutral people was really getting tired of the red team, man, because this is just out of control right here, man. This don't make no sense. So I guess by the time that lady pent what was going on, she saw a lot of traffic coming from 34. So she didn't know what was going on. So what she did was she alerted the CO that works the floor. Now he be going here to there, A, B, C. He be in all the parts. So he come back in our part. Everybody was like, police coming in. Police coming in. He step in. He be like, he do his round. He start walking. Walk around, do the bottom 10. He go upstairs. He start from 44. He coming down. He going down to 35. He get down to 35. He make the cut to go to 34. He get down to 34. He like, come here, man. That's all you hear. Come here. What happened to you? You all right? You trying to leave? All right. He got on his walkie-talkie. He was like, door open up. He's like, come on. See white boy Mike come out the jump. He got like a little scar right here. His little jaw a little bit tinted right here a little bit. You know what I mean? Like he rumbled, but he couldn't beat all of them, y'all. How he's gonna beat 4 people? You know what I mean? They go in the joint, it's wordy. They get him out the joint. He walked down the steps in front of everybody. A couple of dudes that know him like, Mike, you gone? He like, just shook his head like, Mike shot out the door. He was out of there, man. So boom. Sergeant come in the joint. They come in the joint. Sergeant come in. Lock down. Everybody locked down. Lock down. Lock down. Right now, everybody locked down. You know what I mean? We in the set. White boy Mike, I was guessing he told. After Sergeant and all that, I was like, man, white boy Mike told. Sergeant opened up all the doors. He said, everybody step out. Everybody step out. Everybody stepped out. He came, he was like, yeah, look. It's a guy in medical right now that was in 34 cell. He's saying he fell off the top bunk. I don't believe him. What I am gonna say is this though. If I find out any bullying is going on in this pod, when I find out who it is, I'm gonna put you under the jail and you ain't never getting out the hole. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. All right, Empire Rec. That man gave us Empire Rec game, y'all. So boom. I'm coming out the joint like, man, this joint was sweet. He made a speech. I see all the red team members, they looking all happy. Everybody looking all cool. Everybody, fruit like this. Fruit hitting the black in my eye. He standing by his door hitting the black. I look over at the other red team dude. He got the Newports. He like, a couple of other red team members, they over at the table making a swole. They getting the food ready for the night. The boys just came up on the lit. They just came up on the lit, man. Everybody was looking occupied and happy, except James. I looked at James. James looked at me. He was like, he walked over to where we was at. He came over to the Norfolk dudes. He was like, everybody looking like, man, bro, y'all wildin', bro. He was like, Man, I never wanted to do this shit.
Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.